So it's also great to be here because I've been in software long enough that I remember being in .Commer on the 5th floor of that building right there. So back in 2000, that was when we did a 6-month release cycle, which at the time was really, really fast because everybody else was doing a 1 or 2 year. Those days are totally dead. I think everybody is here tonight because you believe in continuous integration, DevOps, and you know that there's a better way to build software. So I've worked in engineering, product, and now I'm co-founder and CEO of LaunchDarkly, which does feature flag management. So my talk today is about good and bad ways to feature flag. I'll call out that you can use feature flagging without ever using LaunchDarkly. So I'm going to talk about some general design patterns. So who here already uses feature flags? Who is thinking about using feature flags? Who has never heard of feature flags? Okay. So in the past 10 years, the old days where you could release once a year has collapsed. Most people now release within weeks, if not days. If you're doing that though, you start to face a problem. You have a lot of code. Some of it might not be ready for prime time. Sometimes you're working on something you want to get some early feedback on, and everybody else wants to just ship today. So a way to get around that is feature flags. So this is a quote from Microsoft. I was up there earlier in May. They've moved from a 3-year release down to basically a weekly release. And how they do it is with feature flagging, which allows them to basically push out different bits of code to different people and get their reaction very quickly. So what you do with it is everything gets shipped off, and then you turn it on selectively. And I actually really love Chloe's talk about code fresh. The only comma I would make about it is that it seems really complicated to have a gazillion staging servers off there. Why don't you just have one server with your code live and then allow different people to see it? Which is basically how Atlassian uses feature flags. So the primary use case that people really get excited about for feature flags is kill switches. So I was just in Australia and I was talking to somebody, and they said they had something that they had shipped out. This is a Sydney-based company, and over the weekend they discovered that a customer in London was really unhappy about this. Something had broken. The old way, and I was part of this old way, is that it's the weekend and you're furiously calling up your developers and they're furiously not answering or dodging your calls or somebody's answering, and you have to get somebody to do a fix over the weekend. This is really not good. Any hurried fix is probably going to create more problems. You're not going to have the right people around. You're not going to be able to test it thoroughly. What they could do with the feature flag is when the customer in London said, hey, something's broken, we're really unhappy, they said, great, we'll turn that off for you. And then on Monday, when everybody was back online and they could do a really deep dive and figure out what had gone wrong, they could fix that. So just having a simple kill switch with a feature flag can really save you hours, if not days, of just stress and pain. So I got really into feature flags when I was at TripIt. So I was a product director at TripIt, which is the #1 travel app, and we had a really risky new project. The risky new project was we wanted to start letting people OAuth into Gmail inboxes so that we could look at all their emails and pull out travel emails. Up until then, we'd had people forward emails. So you had to forward a travel email to plans@tripit.com. Though this was simple, people are busy. People wanted to OAuth in. I, as the product manager at the time, had all these fears and concerns about this. How would the OAuth work? How many emails do people really have? How are we going to be able to pull out the right ones? So what we did actually is we built our own feature flag system, and we started off with, we had about 10 people who I hand selected in terms of like, hey, this might be really buggy. Are you cool with this? And they're all like, yes, we're really cool with getting our early buggy early buggy code if we can help you out. So we could do a really controlled beta with the first 10 users, and then after that, we could start doing a controlled rollout to the rest of the population, where we could every day basically say 5% more gets access to this feature. You probably see a lot of the major tech companies doing this with some sort of homegrown solution. Facebook and LinkedIn are both kind of legendary for their own controlled rollouts. It's a really powerful technique if you have any sort of feature that you're unsure about, that you can just start rolling it out. Perhaps my funnest example, and they're not a lunch directly customer, but a friend of mine, they built their own homegrown system, and every day like the rollout goes 0%, 5%, 20%, 30%, and then at lunchtime it goes back down to 0. And I asked him, like, well, why does it go to 0? It's like, well, we're at lunch. You know, if something goes wrong, we want to enjoy our lunch and not have to worry about it. So, you know, they go and eat their lunch, and when they come back, they turn it back to 35, 40. And when you think about that, that makes an insane amount of sense. Like, why shouldn't you have problems happen when you're around to deal with them, instead of risking a bug or an interruption when you're just trying to enjoy a nice sandwich? So early access betas, which I already covered, are a great way to do feature flagging. Something that I found in my own experience is that people really like getting stuff early. People are really forgiving if they know that they're getting something special. Circle CI actually just did a really good case study with us, where they kind of cherry-picked their best customers to do a redesign, and they got a lot of really good feedback because people felt special and included. The flip of that is that you always have people who, just for whatever reason, don't want to get the latest and greatest code and just want something that's rock solid. I know I'm guilty of this. My friends tease me that if you look at my iPhone and it has a bunch of updates, I'm like, I don't want to update. I travel a lot. I can't risk having something new that might break when I'm on the road. So with feature flags, you can allow people to always kind of map themselves to a curve and say, okay, I don't want to get a new feature. Again, very powerful, because you kind of have this dichotomy of some people like early buggy stuff, some people really don't want that. Something we also used at TripIt, and I've seen other places, is we would block features. We would block them from competitors. We would block based on IP address. We would block based on country. And we would block, for example, TechCrunch if we didn't want them to get scooped. You can also do the flip. I love Chloe's example, but for example, if you have a press person who wants to get early access, it's really clunky if you try to tell them to go to beta.tripit.com. I've tried this, it doesn't really work. They just get very confused and they say, well, why isn't my data there? How can what's happening? With the feature flag, you can say, okay, these people get this feature and these people don't, and it's all controlled and they don't have to think about where they're going. A really good example that GoPro just actually did a webinar with us was they had a major release, and the old way of doing it would be kind of a frantic scramble to time with the press at 10 a.m. Again, I've been there and it's really not fun, because you're frantically trying to deploy code, make sure everything works, and time it with a major marketing launch. With a feature flag, what you could do is you could push everything out, have it live, turn it on for your QA, have them test everything right there in production, and then at that golden minute when you want to do your marketing launch, it'll be the less stressful one you've ever done. Just flip a switch. You don't have to redeploy. You don't have to worry about, oh, is this all going to work in production? So that's all the good things about feature flags. You can also get into a lot of trouble with feature flags. So I kind of collect feature flag horror stories. If you've ever had a feature flag horror story that you want to share with me, I love hearing them. My number one advice, so this is a graph from Knight Capital, and I wrote an article about this for InfoQ, so we're a little short on time, so I'll summarize by, they had a feature flag that was only supposed to be used in staging. It was a feature flag to basically do high volume training. They were a stock firm on Wall Street, and the flag was to do a lot of high velocity trading very quickly, just basically trying to flush out the system. I will say that anytime you ever have something that is only meant to be used in staging, or only meant to be used in testing, or only meant to be used on a sandbox, it is inevitable that somebody will at some point push that live on production. And it's usually the person who you think will not do it, because that's, of course, the person who will get confused. I think GitLab just had a really notorious example about 6 months ago, where the one person who should have known better was tired and overrode a lot of production databases. Same thing basically happened with Knight Capital. They flipped a flag on production to do a lot of high velocity trading, and they basically lost $500 million in about 2 hours. That's a lot of money. That's real money, and you can't get it back. It took them even longer to figure out what's going on because they didn't realize that the reason why their system was going haywire was because they turned this flag on because it had a very ambiguous name. It was named Powder Peg, and they didn't have any auditing. They didn't have any access level control. All they could see was the system just going absolutely haywire, losing a lot of money. And everybody knows that when you're losing a lot of money and people are screaming at you, you go into an absolute panic. So I'm going to talk about 4 quick lessons to feature flag successfully. Give your feature flags a very clear name. The worst name ever is something cutesy, like Godzilla 3. That really seems great at the time when you thought it up. 2 months later, when you're looking at your code and you're like, Godzilla 3, what is that? So try to give them some sort of descriptive names. Don't overuse flags. By this I mean, a horror story I heard from another team is 2 teams both thought that they controlled a flag. They had put it into a config file, and every time they deployed a release, a different team flipped it. It took them about 3 weeks to track down what was happening. Because it was just a config file with a text. Other stuff was going on. They kept seeing this random behavior, and finally they realized that they had both overloaded this flag and it was doing something that they didn't want. So they would turn it on, the other team would go in and turn it off. It took a long time. Conflicting flags. If you have a lot of flags in your system, you're basically building up technical debt. If you are going to use feature flags, and I will say again, I think the feature flags are the best thing ever, you should really use them, make sure that you are thinking about what they do. Like, think from the very beginning, what is this section of code, what is the microservice, what exactly are they controlling? So that you don't end up in a situation where you have things that are kind of overriding each other, and you'll get weird behavior. Access level controls, yes, have them. Feature flags are really powerful. This is, again, a real-world case where they had an admin console where people could control flags, and they had one that was really clearly labeled, do not push this button. What that button did when you pushed it was stop everybody who was using that system from uploading files. And they put this in with very good intentions that at times of high load, they wanted a way that they could throttle the system. They had not put any access control on this, so somebody at some point just pushed it. And they didn't know who, and they didn't know why, and they didn't even know that it had pushed. All they could see was that nobody could upload a file to the system. A lot of really angry calls. About 4 hours later, they finally figured out that somebody had pushed this. So what they did is they went back in and they made the button font much bigger and said, do not push this button. Of course, somebody did the same thing about 2 months later, but this time they knew to go check it. This could have been easily prevented if they had access level controls and had nailed who had rinsed them. Final lesson learned, leftover flags, gross. I think feature flags have a reputation of adding a lot of technical debt. They add a lot of technical debt if you have a lot of crufty flags lying around, because that's basically a lot of stuff that's very brittle and could break. I just heard from a customer they have this phase after launch what they call tidying, which I actually love, which is they verify if a flag has gone out to all the population, and they have an explicit step in their release process of let's go out and clean up all those flags. So in summary, flag carefully. Think about why you're using a flag, think about its life cycle, think about its naming convention, have a standard there. Lock down access in a good way. Like if there's something that you want your DevOps people to use but not your QA or vice versa, lock it down. It'll save you a lot of hurry. And remove flags. Just build this into your thought process when you're thinking about feature flagging, is that if you're not using a flag anymore, pull it out of your code. So thanks everybody. I have stickers and I'd love to talk to anybody more about feature flagging. So thanks.